I'm just east of Broadway Street here in Medina. This is one thing I thought was pretty interesting. I've been down here a few times, but there used to be a spur that ran off of here, and you can see the extra long ties right up here. I'm facing east right now, but these were the tie switch ties where this used to split off, and it used to run, I think it was a concrete mixing facility that was here at one time. And looking at all the historical stuff, I think it lasted up until the 1950s, and I'm not sure when they took this spur out exactly, but you can you can still see, here's the track back here, the rails where it split off from back there, and the actual little spur into the industry is still kind of here for the most part. It's right here, but I always thought that was kind of cool. I'm not sure, they probably used to bring aggregate and stuff into this concrete place at one time, but as you can see, there's nothing been on these rails for a long time. And I'm gonna walk up here to where it kind of dead ends. Like this is, no, it keeps going. They just have all these big dumpsters kind of over top of where the rails are, but it keeps going. They've obviously regraded all this at some point, but the last piece of rail that I can see is right here between these two dumpsters back there. And then this has all been obviously like bulldozed or something, but they store dumpsters back in here. And boy, I think that's an old rail cart sitting right there. I'd walk over there, but I don't know who owns this, so I think that's an old rail push car. Another pretty interesting thing through here is this all used to be double tracked, and where it split off back there, obviously the spur went over here to this industry, but then the second track ran down through here, and you can still see the old ties in place through here. And then when we get up here to this little bridge, it was actually set up for two tracks across it. I'll take a quick video up here too. This is the little bridge I was talking about, and you can clearly see that it's set up for a second set of tracks to go across it. I don't know when they ripped the second line out. I've seen pictures maybe into like the 70s. I think it was still around, I think, but I'm not sure when they took this second siding out through town here, but it would have been neat to see. I used to come here to visit family in the 80s, and it was gone by then, probably the mid to late 80s, so it's been gone at least that long. But I'm not sure. You could probably look on an old track chart or something and figure it out. That traffic closest up there is East Broadway Street, and I've seen pictures on the internet, and this is still some kind of concrete or materials place right here, but they don't make it on site. But there used to be some kind of a big silo that sat right in here, and yeah, a lot of the concrete for the old stuff in Medina was made right here on this spot. And there's some pretty cool pictures of this little industry here at one point. And I think it went out of business in the 1950s, if I remember right. And then this is Medina Supply or something. But I think they do concrete and gravel maybe, I'm not sure. But they still do something with building materials, but it's not made on site. I'm not sure where they get it. Probably up at the Osborne or Kokosing or something is probably where they get all that stuff now. But back in the day, this is where it was. This big pile of rail here, and the switch down there, and the frogs and everything, this actually used to be the rail that went into the old Medina Farmers Exchange down here. And I remember coming to visit family in the 80s, and that switch into the Medina Farmers Exchange was still there. And if I recall, there used to be like a box car or maybe like a flat car or something. There used to be a car or two that always used to sit down in there. So they were still taking rail deliveries into probably the late 80s, I think, on this little spur into the exchange here. I don't know when they quit taking rail cars, but I'm pretty sure sometime in the mid to late 90s they ripped this this little siding off into the farmers exchange and got rid of it. But it was here for a long time. Here we have a little more rail from the siding here that went into the Medina Farmers Exchange. But yeah, that siding, it ran pretty much right along where this fence is. It was right down through here. And I don't know, there might even have been a second track over in here at one time. But you can see the rail's still here. They just threw it off to the side when they redid this place a year or two ago. And there used to be an old concrete loading dock that's set somewhere, probably right off that door there maybe. And it came out to where about those trees are. And then there was always, like I said, when we'd come through, we'd come across 42 here going north into town, and there would always be a boxcar sitting right in here, which was pretty cool. I remember being a kid seeing the siding track and the boxcar sitting down in here. It was pretty awesome. And I'm guessing these are probably the ties from, that's all probably left over from that siding in here. And this is the Medina Farmers Exchange. There's a microbrew down in the basement, a restaurant up here, a meat market, and then I guess up in the top there's apartments or something. And they just redid this about a year ago, and they worked on it for probably, boy, I'd say at least a good year before it opened, maybe even like 18 months. It was a long time they were working on it, and somebody spent a lot of money. And the very first day it was supposed to open was the very first weekend of the COVID lockdown. So there was actually a couple different brand new places in town that were supposed to open up that weekend, and this was one of them. So they seem to be doing pretty good. There's always people here. I've been here a handful of times. The food is awesome. The beers, they're microbrewery beers. They're pretty good. I don't know. They're probably not the best, but they are new, so I got to cut them a little slack on that. It sometimes takes some of these places a little bit of time to get their formulas right for their beers, but it is an awesome place, and I highly recommend going there. And then just west of 42 here, this was the location. This is east of Chicago Pizza right here, and the Farmers Exchange is right there. But this is the location of the Akron, what was it? The Akron and whatever the railroad, Akron and Western, I can't remember it off the head. I'm having a brain fart moment, but the depot used to sit right here in this spot. And there's plenty of pictures online you can find of the Medina Depot here. And I think it burned down at some point. And if I were to take a guess, I haven't seen any pictures of it since probably like maybe the late 60s or maybe in the 70s sometime. But there's several pictures online that you can see and look, and you can clearly see the depot here, and you can see this stuff in the background. You can see the silos for the Farmers Exchange in the background. All you got to do is a little bit of Google searching. Medina Depot, perhaps Akron, and man, I wish I could remember the name of that. What it used to be before it became the Norfolk and Western back in the day. But yeah, and there's another picture where you can see these rails here, these ones they piled in here for like a barrier, and you can see the depot clearly sitting like right there behind those rails like that, which is pretty cool, I think, because you can exactly picture where it is. A relic of railroads past. It says no parking, N&W Railway. So they obviously used to own part of this in here, and this was all still double tracked all the way through here too. I don't know where it came back in, maybe before this little bridge up here, maybe not, I'm not sure, but at least through here to up where I was at the beginning up there, it was all double track through here, which would have been really cool to see, I think. And here we are over at Loggerheads Brewery. This happens to be, I've been here before, this is right here at the milepost 140. And the railroad I was trying to think of was actually the Akron, Canton, and Youngstown. That's what this used to be at one point, the Akron, Canton, and Youngstown. The AC and Y, I think they used to call it. And that's where their depot was, back down that way. So, just walking by the Loggerheads Brewery. This is where they actually brew their beer. They have a barbecue place just west of pretty much where I live on the north side of town, which is west on Hamilton Road. So I highly recommend their food. It is delicious, and their beers are pretty darn good too. In fact, I think they probably have the best micro beers in town here, at least in Medina, in my opinion. Here we are at the looking west towards the Medina yard. This is the yard limits. Right under this is the old B&O that used to cross over down to Sterling to the south and up to Leicester to the north, and both ends of that are now a bike path. But here is the yard limit for the Medina yard, which is down there. It looks like they're putting together maybe a stone train or something. I'm gonna go check it out.